Hey YouTube, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. As you see, I'm quite busy getting these videos out here at the request of some people. And at the end of this one, you'll see how to get a lot of the resources that I have for free. You can get them in book form by buying them through Amazon, but I put at the end of this some safe places where you can download. Well, one is a program that I use, and that's how I get all these scriptures in here. Um, and there's another one with the book of Enoch, and I have that at the end of my slide. If you notice the video before this, I have a Psalms at the end of it. Uh, Kind of helps me get through some things, especially when I'm dealing with these issues, right? Now, for you ignorant black females out there that think that everybody is bashing you because we can't get no black woman, you're stupid as all get out. The problem with you is that all we can get from a black woman is sex, but not a relationship. All right. That's why I post my videos. That's why I started this channel. I wanted to warn black men, good black men, and good black women or black men that want to be good. All right. And I wanted to warn them so that they will be able to understand the difference between a evil black woman and a good black woman, or just an evil black woman, period, so that we don't have to tarry with you if you're evil. Period. That is the purpose of all my things. And that's why I use a lot of scripture, because I'm exposing you for the evil that you do. And I have an understanding. And the more I read, the more I understand where your mentality come from. And the more I read, the more I understand that you really don't give a F about what we think, by what damage it's going to cause. You just really don't care. So this one we're going through Enoch and Genesis again, and this is um, how black women will lust after what they know is destructive. So I got three videos that y'all probably need to see embedded in here, and tell me what you think about those. Okay. And so I'm just exploring the books of Enoch and Genesis for insights into the present using the past. All right. One of the things I tell one of my nieces that I'm raising is she always wants me to forget what she's done in the past. She's like, that was the past. The past may have been yesterday, right? And this is what I tell her. The only way to judge you by your conduct is based on what you've done in the past. Period. And so in order for me to judge you in a better light, if all you done in the past is evil, is change your past. Each minute that passes is the past. You can't live in the future. You can only live in the present. All right. But the best clue as to judge how somebody is acting in the present, or who they are in the present, the best clue to judge somebody for who they are in the present, you can only judge them by their past. All right. And their past is an indication of who they may be in the future. All right. So if they have a long past of treachery, just think that they are going to take that into the future. So if you're in the present and you have to make a decision, a future decision about something to do with that individual, you judge them by their complete past. All right. So the only way you can judge somebody and we are to judge. Understand this. We are to judge. If you read the scriptures, not the New Testament, and even in the New Testament, it says, "Judge not, lest ye be judged by the same meat in which you judge." All right. Meaning that if you run around calling somebody a liar and you're a liar too, you can't judge them to be a liar if you're a liar. You can't judge a thief to be a thief if you're a thief. That's all that means. But it does mean judge using the scripture and the commandments. All right. And so the best way to judge who a person is to get to know what they have done in their past, just like a job interview. All right. So for a quick minute, just wanted to go over some definitions, right? And I put Enoch and Genesis, right? But Genesis is also known as Bereshit. And here's the significance about this, Genesis and Bereshit. Genesis means the beginning, period. The start or the start of, the origin. All right, that's what Genesis means in English. All right, but Genesis scripturally is not called Genesis in Hebrew. The word in Hebrew is Bereshit. And Bereshit means the beginning of knowledge. Okay? Not the beginning of knowledge, the beginning of wisdom. All right? So catch this. Bereshit is the beginning of wisdom. Now, remember that Job is the oldest book, both chronologically speaking, and the oldest one that they found in the canon. Canon, another definition, is a word for what white people determine is the authoritative whatever for whatever thing. So basically, if you want to know about Star Wars, all right, white people will not recognize anything outside of canon. That means outside of anything George Lucas, um, outside of anything what George Lucas says is about Star Wars. So, say I have a theory about Star Wars and I make something up about Star Wars. Well, it's not canon because I'm not George Lucas. So, my impression of Star Wars or my event for Star Wars is is not canon. And so, when people look at it, they say, okay, this is not going to be true. All right, because it's not canon. So, that's what the canon means. And now do a little more about that. Now, about these black women, right? Black women lust after the desire, um, or they have a desire for forbidden fruit. Period. They have a desire. They had a desire in the past, and it created turmoil in all the earth. And they have a desire for forbidden fruit, and it creates the turmoil in all of the black communities. All right, and they also have a desire to teach that destruction to their offspring the same way when they slept with the fallen angels they taught with along with the fallen angels the destruction to their offspring. All right, so understand this. All right. Oh, and a little more on canon to make sure we got it clear. A canon is means that something outside of what whomever wrote something deemed as a part of their thought process. All right. And I use George Lucas in Star Wars or comic books like Marvel comic books, right? Um, if I want to make Iron Man have in Marvel have a kryptonite armor so that he could beat Superman, all right, and then I make a video and say this is how I this is why Iron Man can beat Superman and Superman can't because he got kryptonite armor. Well, that's not canon because in Marvel they don't have kryptonite. You see what I'm saying? So I brought something in my from my opinion, put it on Iron Man, and then this is how he beat Superman, and then everybody look at it and said, well, but that's not canon. That's not how it works because it's not in Marvel's Bible of what Iron Man's suits are. Okay. And so when I say the book of Enoch was kept out of the canon, I meant that in 325, 336 AD, in the Council of Nicaea, when the Romans got together and decided to put what we call the Bible together, it was then called the canon, meaning that they were not going to allow anybody else to add to that book unless it was them, unless it was them, then they turned into the English, then they added, took away and stuff. So everybody always added and took away from the canon, but the only people that had the authority to add and take away from the canon was the white people in charge of the canon. So when the book of Enoch came in and they found out it was in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and then they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, oh, that opened this whole can of worms up, right? And so I just wanted to put this scripture up here again, um, and read First John, and it's all about keeping the commandments, right? It is all about keeping the commandments. And um, if we don't keep the commandments, and the commandments is anything that Elohim says to do, Yahweh Elohim, anything he says to do or not to do. All right. And so we get here to every tree in the midst of the garden, right? He began made a helpmate, and the purpose of man was to guard the garden. And again, my last video, I got into what is the man guarding the garden from? Is to keep it safe from the mighty ones and from any evil, right? So that was his purpose. That was the purpose. And so the only way to get past the strength that the man had was to cause sin to come in. And so basically they went through the woman. Because she must have gave some indication that she desired the fallen ones in the garden. All right. So he just didn't come to the woman. She had to give a clue that she was susceptible to crossing over and doing evil. All right. Now, even knowing the commandment, because in the third chapter, when they're getting punished, she knows the commandment and quoted what the Almighty said. And I pointed this out in my other video. Even knowing the commandment, she did it anyway, is because what mattered to her most is her desire. All right. So I wanted to put that the purpose of man was to guard the garden. All right. And so that's what that means in Hebrew. We say, work it and well, you know what we say in English, but he was to guard it. And remember, Genesis start the beginning of wisdom of Yah. So what is this beginning of wisdom? What brainstorm did the Almighty have that he needed to create this man to be a guard in a garden to guard all the things that were holy? And that's the intent for the Israelites too. We're supposed to guard that which is holy. And if you look at the commandments, we guard his commandments, not keep. We guard his commandments. And I wanted to show you the difference in that. And there's a difference between guarded. We are the guards for the commandments. That's the purpose of the Israelite nation. The other purpose is we were to help the Almighty get rid of the Nephilim. All right. We were mighty in the garden where we can stand guard and not be harmed by the Nephilim. We also had eternal life so long as we ate from the tree of life. You see what I'm saying? So basically, that's what we had going on. So basically, that's what we had going on in the garden. All right. Now, we get into the serpent, and like I said, the serpent wasn't a snake. All right. And the woman had to give a sign that she was willing to disobey a commandment. All right. Women give signs to thugs to let them know that they want them. Like they wear the weave, they dress half naked. All right. That's a sign to thugs, not decent men. That's a sign that I want to be with a thug, and I want him to hit this, create a whole bunch of children, and then I'm gonna teach my baby children to destroy the community. All right, and so then we get down to this. Read from Genesis 3 and 13. The serpent deceived me, and I ate. meaning that she had sex with him out of being deceived. All right. And so he's giving the punishment to the serpent. And he said he should be put enmity between you and the woman. Who's between the serpent and the woman? It's the man. And then he said between your seed and her seed. You see what I'm saying? It is the seed of man. And we're talking about pure man, not the Nephilim. And the seed of the serpent is the Nephilim. So there will always be enmity between the Nephilim and men that are holy men born of a woman and man. All right. Now, the people running the earth right now are Nephilim. They appear as white men, but they are Nephilim. This is why it's a dangerous thing for a black woman to get with a white man, because they do it for power. And I believe wholeheartedly they are able to recognize the Nephilim, which is for those that cross over. They're not crossing over for any old white man. They're crossing over for the descendants of Nephilim, because that's where their heart is. Their heart is corrupt. All right. And so basically that's where my mind is right now. When I read this and stuff like that, I'm looking at that the black woman has in her understanding um a spirit that tells her what's evil when she desires evil, and she goes for it. All right. Now let me show you some examples of this.
Coming up on Judge Faith.
You have kids?
Yes, I do have children.
How many?
I have 4 total.
By how many different women?
3.
At 24 years old? This is the person you want to have a child with and create a lifelong bond with?
Okay, people, understand that. Understand what this woman is saying. That this woman is aware that this dude got 4 children by 3 different women. All right. And we're going to come back to this. All right. He got four children by 3 different women. She's aware of it, but that's the dude she want. All right. And he knew she wanted evil. Right. And so he prepared himself and ran game on her to get her. And then she prepared herself to desire evil, with the weave and everything else. When women wear weave, they are desiring evil. They don't want a good black man. They're looking for the Nephilim white man, and not just any old white. They're looking for the Nephilim white man or the evil black man. Okay? Now, we're going to beat this dead horse that that the Nephilim were able to get in, screw a bunch of black women. They had a bunch of just evil children. It was great sin, and these evil children was destroying the earth and man that the Almighty created. All right, so this is the beginning of that story, right? And what these guys did, as you see in my earlier videos, is they taught violence and everything, right? So the women and these guys here, and here's the names down at the bottom, taught violence and everything else to the children, their children who are the offspring of the fallen ones and black women. And you had the cavemen being created. You had all manner of all other kind of abominations being created as a result of this union. And then the Nephilim made it with each other and was screwing everything and screwing people. This is where homosexuality come from. It's not a natural act. All this was taught at the behest of the black woman and the fallen ones. And then the Nephilim carried it on and carried it on and carried it on. This evil got into us, and it surely did kill us off.
You have anger issues? Clearly you do.
It's only when she's drinking. That's the only time she get belligerent is when she's drinking.
When I went to go look for the house and came back.
Is that true?
No, it's not true. I've gotten into a physical
How many other
altercation.
fights have you had since you've lived there? With who else?
With my roommate
gotta
and
think about
the
it.
lady down the street. And that's because my roommate
With
went
another
down.
neighbor down the street.
Yes.
So that's 3 people.
Yes, it is. My roommate went down there saying, oh, she said this about you, she said that about you, and that's how I end up keep getting into it with her.
Oh, because you
of my
felt like you were
roommate.
disrespected. How old are your
No,
kids?
I
How old are your
feel-
kids?
My kids are 16 and 10.
And they live with you?
Yes.
According to you, everyone tries to attack you.
Okay.
And you have to defend yourself on multiple occasions with different people. Most of us don't have to walk around defending ourselves every 3 weeks against someone trying to jump on us. I mean, you're physically saying you have to defend yourself. And you want me to believe that you are not the aggressor and you don't have anger issues. You have a 16-year-old and a 10-year-old. They're living with you, right?
Right.
And you and your roommate are carrying on like that? Do you love your children?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, you understand what you're teaching them, right? When they see you cussing and fighting, physically being violent with other people, you are teaching them to solve their problems with violence. That is not the environment you want to raise your kids in, ma'am.
And y'all should check out this Judge Faith. Check it out. I mean, it looked like I saw I saw an episode, the one that I'm about to bring up at the end. I saw that whole thing, and you really have to look at what's really going on with these black women. All right, and so basically, to further my point, look at Enoch 8:1, and so the fallen ones teach the black women violence. The black women then teach their children of today violence by example. Like the judge said, where do they get that from? That they have part of the spirit of the Nephilim in them. Some black women are just downright just evil like this. All right, just because they're not eating people under the porch don't mean you shouldn't be able to recognize it. Any black woman that supports evil is also herself evil. I don't care what kind of excuse she comes up with. Any black woman that supports evil is also herself evil. All right? Period. End of story. And so they learn this from their ancient husbands. Then they seek out those, like any black woman that's looking for a white man. They're not looking for any old white man. They're looking for a white man of power. And they're able to spiritually tell that it's because they have evil in their hearts. So all the ones that say, oh, and I got a family and stuff like that. One, that's why the spirit, there is no mixed children. No such thing as a mixed child. If a child is born of a white man, then he's a white. If a child is born of a black man, then he's black. But then if a black man is an Israelite, then that child is an Israelite. If that white man is a German, then that child is a German. Remember, all manner of violence that happened to us and oppression came at the hands of Nephilim and even in slavery. And that's who these women have desire for, seeking after power.
Okay, so you've hit him at least twice that you admit to, and you spit in his face.
Yes,
okay,
Your
that
Honor.
is, you're assaulting him. This is the man you love, that you want to build a family with, that you want to start a family with, and you're hitting him and spitting in his face.
And then he cheated and he lied, and it's also two things. It's two
Both
sides
of
to the
you
story.
are, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. Because if this were a man admitting this in court, you have to understand people would be all over you. And I'm not going to let you slide because you're a woman.
I understand.
You are assaulting assaulting him and you are committing domestic violence against him. And then you want to come in and sue because the relationship didn't go the way you wanted it to go. But then you're going to come into court and you admit that you are committing domestic violence against him.
Like I said, y'all, check this show out. This woman's on fire. All right, so here's my final thoughts. Understand this woman. Now, in the whole show, she even went to his job and was violent to him on his job. Got him in trouble, so he countersued her for what happened at the job, right? Now, also understand this. Did you understand her mentality? But she did not see anything wrong about her enacting violence upon a man. And then, on top of that, she took him to court. All right. So basically, this dude was going to end up in court one way or the other. And had she not admitted that she was the one that initiated the violence and was hitting him after he said that, yeah, this is a problem, all right, then there would be nothing else said about it. All right, she would have been able to beat the crap out of it. She was beating the crap out of this dude, and he could do nothing, which is why she's not in jail but at court suing him. So for all you dudes that says there is no reason at all a man should hit a woman back, there is a reason to teach her a lesson to not hit a man. Knock her teeth out, do whatever. You're going to go to jail anyway because she's going to lie on you and bring you to court like she did this dude. All right. And I'm going to show you, man, I need to put this up where a woman hit the dude with a pole and then he ended up in jail. How about the dude that was on the bus, the Hispanic dude? All right, from Puerto Rico, playing for the Oakland A's. The woman hit him with a stiletto and busted his ear, but he goes into jail. And she's free. That's why you need to punch the mess out of him. And he got to hit her back, punch the mess out of her. He should have knocked her out. All right. He did 4 days, but he was able to get out because there was video evidence she hit him first. All right. Now, here are my sources. You got eSword up here. Donate if you can. They have a donation button, but it's totally free. You don't have to donate anything. They only ask you for your credit card information if you choose to donate. But it's a free download, totally free download. All right. And then you have the one under that is where I get the book of Enoch that with the name of Yahweh restored. But I bought the book of Enoch and I bought the scriptures on Amazon at a pretty decent price. I buy a lot of my old books that you pretty much can't get anywhere, like the 1611 King James Version and all the old more ancient Bibles. I buy them on Amazon. All right. Now, eSorts, they have a download mechanism that if you want, they have other Bibles and they'll tell you which ones you have to pay for, which ones are free. So you can get the 1611 version for free. You can get the Septuagint for free. If you read Hebrew, you can get it in Hebrew for free. You can get it in Greek for free. Now, the new international versions and all this new stuff, you have to pay for those. And there's a reason behind that. And that's another video. All right. It comes automatically with the King James versions and King James version with strong concordance. All right, so there's a lot of download drop boxes with a lot of pertinent information, and you can cut and paste like I do to my videos, right? And for your enjoyment, I left up Psalms 8 because I often wonder, I know our purpose and stuff, and I think about it. What is man that thou art mindful of him? You know what I'm saying? And so, with that said, I'm out.